the evidence shows that 60% of people have some kind of chronic illness or metabolic disease. That's a massive number. That's a huge majority. So how can we combat that with natural things, right? How can our lifestyle become medicine?
Welcome to Health Decoded, your number one source for real health information, with your hosts, Dr. Alessi and Matt Tack.
All right, welcome to episode 1 of Health Decoded. I'm your host, Dr. Alessi.
And your co-host, Matt Tack.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, very exciting what we're doing here, man. And this first episode, we just really want to introduce ourselves and let the audience know kind of what we're doing. We're pivoting from the Full Fueled podcast, now rebranding as the Health Decoded podcast, running in tandem with our functional wellness clinic in Tampa, Florida. And the mission, man, as it's always been, but even more so now, is to help people to really discern what is health and what is maybe some BS, right? And I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to functional health and functional medicine is like, there's so many people out there just putting out information, what's real and what's not. And we have enough experience behind the both of us combined to really give people the truth and honestly keep it simple. So excited to be here, excited for this. Let's do this. Let's just give a real quick kind of summary of who we are and where we come from. And I'll let you go first, man.
Yeah, so my name is Matt Tack. I am a certified personal trainer. Haven't used it a number of years, but through NASM. And I would consider myself in terms of highly educated in the health and human performance. And what that means to be proactive about your health, especially for those men and women that are getting into their 40s and 50s and kind of thinking in longevity mindset. And what does that mean to them? So I've spent a number of years just unpacking what it means to me and helping out other individuals through the coaching process of what human performance looks like when you're entertaining 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And how you can still be optimal at any age. So I am a human performance specialist, both in the nutritional realm and then in the physiological in terms of exercise.
Awesome, man. And I'm Dr. Alfred Alessi. If you're a patient in our office or if you're familiar with myself, you know that I'm a chiropractor and functional medicine doctor. And the goal is always prevention is better than cure. But there's often times where people are behind the curve on some disease or illness. And what ways can we use natural solutions to achieve optimal health and not have to go through the conventional medicine route, which honestly can just be frustrating and just a rabbit hole of symptom-based care. And so that's really what we want to streamline and kind of focus on with this show is how can we use natural solutions? How can we use our body's own intuitive healing systems to heal from disease and to stay healthy long term? So, the reason, man, we were like rebranding this show is because we were very much focused in our other podcast, Full Fueled, on a niche of men looking to optimize their health, that's not like this is going to go away. But we just find that we can serve, like the same with our clinic, we can serve more people with the approach that we're taking right now. And really the questions we always get, and I know you get it all the time, is like people come to you, hey, is this true? Is this real? Is this right? And they always have a million questions on something they heard online. So, we both kind of came together on that. But let me ask you this, man, like if you had to say, tell the listeners, what's like the mission, right, between Alessi Functional Health and Health Decoded?
Yeah, it's just being more informed, right? I think one of our big things in terms of like what our outlook is and what we always talk about is constantly challenging things, right? Being intuitive more than reactive about things, being more proactive about your health instead of reactive about your health. And so then what does that look like in terms of just like pure layman? And it's becoming more knowledgeable, right? When you have more knowledge, you have more power. And so if you can utilize that and make it purposeful and put it into action, there's a lot of intention with your life around that, right? And there's a lot of empowerment in terms of how I can control my daily activities when it comes to from very basic things to nutrition selection all the way to like how I spend my time, right? And how I efficiently spend my time so that maybe I can feel better, look better, play better. And so we always go round the clock on what I guess we could talk about the pillars at which we move, although we won't purely like explain these in every episode, but it fuel, movement, sleep, mind, spirit, and work. And if you can check those consistently on a daily basis and being like, hey, where am I at with these things? You can ultimately evolve into a much better human. So that's what we want to stay true to is our purpose, but get people more educated and have them be cognizant of the decisions that they're making on a daily basis.
Amen, man. So yeah, the goal is definitely to provide listeners with a ton of valuable knowledge, not just, me and you talking, but really just sharing like real, like factual evidence. Like, hey, the evidence shows that 60% of people have some kind of chronic illness or metabolic disease. That's a massive number. That's a huge majority. So how can we combat that with natural things, right? How can our lifestyle become medicine? And honestly, we're going to share a ton of patient testimonials from the office. We're going to bring patients in and have patients kind of tell their story on the podcast. And we want people to submit questions to us that they have. Like if you have a burning question, we want you to send it to ask@alessifxhealth.com. And if you send us that question, we will answer it on the show with your permission. And, that being said, man, a prime example is a patient that we had and how us as practitioners all work together. We had a patient come in. She was actually referred to me from a friend of mine who's a chiropractor, right? And so you can think like, why is a chiropractor sending a patient to another chiropractor? Well, her gut-based symptoms was a little bit more in line with what we handle in the office. This patient had been to multiple MDs, gastroenterologists, endocrinologists, everyone. And all they did was a bunch of really expensive tests, colonoscopies, put her through this whole ringer of things just to tell her that they couldn't figure out what was going on with her. And they put her on proton pump inhibitors thinking that she had high stomach acid. It was the opposite. She had low stomach acid due to insufficient balance in her gut bacteria. All it took was a simple gut test to figure that out, which nobody ran because conventional medicine doesn't really know these kind of things, right? So these kind of cool niche, I guess, nuanced tests that we're able to run with functional medicine, we found out what the problem was. Within 3 months, she was symptom-free. Back, no bloating, no indigestion. She could eat all the foods again. And it was because we eliminated the bad, re-inoculated with good bacteria, and ultimately got her back to feeling amazing. And so that's just one story out of a bunch of stories we're going to talk about on this show, man. Talk about some of the frustrations you've seen, in the world of healthcare and modern medicine, right? If we talk about conventional medicine, not that we're knocking it by any means, right? It is there for a reason and it's helpful, but sometimes can miss the mark. Anyone that highlights to you?
Yeah, I would say, we definitely don't want to come across as like we're anti-medicine, right? Like it's more so having an understanding and more intuitive outlook with how you look at longevity and your overall health, right? And how you maximize the days ahead. And so I would look at it purely as what I stated before. In terms of like, all right, what checks and balances can I make in my life to ultimately feel better? We have this motto of look good, feel good, play good, right? And so how am I incorporating these like small tactical things that ultimately can optimize my living? And so as we look at our gut health, that's a big thing is really understanding how your gut and how it's correlating to even the hormones in your body and how they're transitioning, right? Because a lot of times we're interrupting our gut at its fullest capacity and we're minimizing what the benefits of it does have. And then our hormones get all out of whack and our metabolism, and we blame it on aging, right? But the reality is it's definitely not aging. And so then it becomes like, all right, well, what do I need to do to reset things? And so that's why we want to like utilize this platform and kind of decode the podcast of like what that means, because a guy on our team, that's what he does for us, right? We take you through an entire process of leveling out your pH levels, getting your gut to perform at a higher level of efficiency and resetting your metabolism so that you're living at optimal health. So, one of the things that I see in today's day and age is specifically, I think people are questioning more and more about like our food and what they're putting into their body. I don't think that has actually correlated to the action component yet, right? I think a lot of people are questioning, but they really don't care, right? They're like, yeah, but it's there, right? It's easy. I think that will evolve and come along. But that's part of the process of what we're doing here in Health Decoded is we're really saying, hey, this is why you got to shapen up and sharpen kind of the tools in your toolbox, because ultimately what you're doing is hindering your highest level of optimization.
Yeah, man, that's so true. And, we're going to talk about a lot of different things, but mostly all will kind of tie back to the concept of like decoding what is health, right? Getting to the bottom of it. And health is not just merely not feeling sick or the absence of disease, but it is my body performing, and is my body able to heal, right? Like, because it should. Our body has these built-in mechanisms that should heal. If you get an injury, if you get an illness, it should do its job. Now, when it doesn't, that's because there's something in the way. There's a hindrance. So, we're going to talk about root cause medicine, what it is. We're going to talk about inflammation, gut health, weight loss, real weight loss, not like, just artificial medicine weight loss that then kind of rebounds and makes people more sick. We're going to talk about nutrition, detoxing, so many things. The list goes on and on. We're going to bring on some really awesome guests, people that we've had on the show before, people that we're going to bring back, new guests. We're going to revamp some of the older episodes that were really popular and kind of reinvigorate those topics again. And I think it's just going to really be cool, man. We're going to once a month try to do an episode where we just answer our listeners' questions. So we really want people, whether you're a patient or not, to submit those questions to ask at alessifxhealth.com, and we will answer those for you live on the show. I'm excited, man. I really think like just the mission is so solidified as to why we're doing this, and the importance of these honest conversations and like debunking these health myths, man. Because again, like how many times is there some influencer who has zero credentials or credibility, but they're popular on Instagram and they're saying a bunch of things, and then how many people start trying stuff? Yeah. Now, that being said, we're proponents of trying things. Like, it's not like I'm saying not to try something if you think it might help you, but I mean, there's a fine line between some of this kind of weird fringy stuff and people just trying to make a buck off of you. And so that's not what this is at all. We're not here to turn a profit off of anyone. We're not here to, use someone's illness as a way to make money. We are here to just give free information and value. And so we want people to be engaged. And we just want them to deliver, man.
And act, right? One of the biggest things, components, action on the backside of that. So how are we incorporating this into potentially our daily lives? And a lot of the stuff that we're going to be going over, you're like, that was super basic. I never thought of it that way. But we want to explain health and what it means and how to decode health at a third grade level, where anyone and everyone can understand it. And you can feel like your 20-year-old self again. So, a lot of our listeners are probably going to be in their 30s and 40s, maybe even older, 50s and 60s. And they're like, man, how can I get my health back? Right. And it really is like one day at a time, one step at a time, but getting those fundamentals back in place, like shooting free throws. Hey, I need to hit a couple layups.
That's right.
And you build those, and man, you feel like a completely new person. So that's what we're going to be walking you through. We'll get some nerdy on some stuff too, but that's ultimately how we want to just, we just want to give it to you at its core level, at the basic level, and hope that you can understand and take some action.
Yeah, the goal is to keep the information raw, real, but simple to digest, but based on science and fact. And so that's the goal of this podcast. We do encourage you to subscribe. If you find value, please leave us a review and share. That's how we grow. That's how other people can find this and gain the valuable information as well. Our next episode coming next week is going to be the root cause revolution. So we're going to talk about what is root cause medicine versus symptom-based care. We're going to really get into the topic of that and how we can kind of shift the mindset of our country to prevention versus waiting until something goes wrong. So anything you want to leave the guests with today, Matt?
No, I'm just excited about this kind of next journey. I think it very clearly states of, what we're going to be talking about. We're decoding health right? We want to give you the most value out of it. So I'm really excited about this next season of podcasting that we're entering in and how much value it's going to bring to the audience.
Awesome. And so go to our website, alessifunctionalhealth.com, and subscribe to our newsletter. That's how you're going to be in the know. That's how you're going to be kept up with all of what's going on in and out of our clinic, within the podcast and the Health Decoded community. And we just want to say thank you for being part of this journey. Together, we're decoding health and changing lives. Stay curious, stay empowered, and remember, your health is in your hands.
Thank you for tuning in to Health Decoded, where we break down the truth about all things health and empower you to take charge of your well-being. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. For more resources and personalized support, visit us at alessifunctionalhealth.com and sign up for our newsletter. To hear your questions answered live on the show, send them to ask@alessifxhealth.com. That's ask@alessifxhealth.com. Until next time, stay curious, stay empowered, and remember, your health is in your hands.